Hello and welcome back. I'm Shelfie and this is my continuing Let's Play of Shadowrun Hong Kong Extended Edition. Last week we just delved in and around the area for more information. We explored some shops. Elder something or other, I can't remember her name. What was it? I can't remember what her name was. Magpie. Elder Magpie. And we discovered that she's probably all dead as well. The elders didn't tell us about her, so that's a bit suspicious. We've got a key to the storm drains now. So let's hope we are available and qualified to go down here. Holy shit, that was quick. So look at this storm drain. Despite the darkness, you can see something glitter at the edge of the drain. Looking closer, it appears to be a necklace chain of some kind. It's become caught in the drain's grate, narrowly avoiding falling down the deep pit. Let's take it. Lifting the necklace out of the drain, you turn it over in your hand. It's a simple silver pendant on a chain. The silver pendant depicts a long-tailed bird in flight, a magpie. So that's probably magpies. As are these. The disgusting pile of stinking human remains smells strongly of blood in the first stages of decay. The arms, legs and organs here are heaped together like stacked firewood, leaking blood and gore across the floor. The parts contained therein appear to have been sliced away from the parent body rather than torn or bitten. Judging by the clean edges on the cuts, the blade used to sever these parts is extremely sharp. This is a whole world of messed up rain. Isabel takes a moment to suppress a retch. I think the killer stashed these here. They're stacked. They've been organised. This is our killer, alright. Looking closer at the pile, one part stands out. It's a severed forearm and it's covered in tattoos. Words in a Slavic language and a shining lighthouse adorn the forearm. And a ring-like images are inked on each finger. On the back of the hand there's a skull inside a square. Whoever owned this arm isn't likely to be one owner. The tattoos look like they were poorly drawn and inked by hand, rather than a machine, most likely Russian criminal tattoos. Okay. Been in there. As you round the corner, you hear voices speaking just loudly enough for you to make out coherent sentences. The speakers are definitely not local. They speak with a slight Slavic accent, and their clothing is heavily armoured. Around them are a number of crates and boxes, all mostly filled. It looks like the group is packing up. Vasilia. Yaroslav says the boat will be ready tomorrow morning. He's gotten everything arranged with the port authority. We move the goods to his warehouse. He'll handle loading them onto the ship, and we can get paid right then and there. The orc spits on the ground. I'll be glad to be done with this filthy place. I will too. I hate having to hide in these damn drains. It stinks down here. I can hear the devil rats running down the walkways. It's a mess, and it's disgraceful. We shouldn't have to put up with this bullshit. And Alexander still isn't back from his little trip. We'll have to leave him behind if he doesn't get back soon. I know, Galina. Until Audrey says we're in the clear from the triads, we can't be seen with the goods on the street. They find us, we go back to Vladivostok in sausage casings. Those Red Dragon and Mandaki don't screw around when it comes to protecting their turf. Who knows? Maybe Alexander was stupid and they caught him. Either way, we'll have to lug this crap through the drains for a few clicks. Several boxes near the two women bear a distinctive label, a magpie in flight. The same emblem you saw stamped on Magpie's equipment in her shop. The old woman sniffs the air suspiciously and her eyes dart towards the dark tunnel you stand in. Before you have a chance to get out of sight, she locks eyes with you. York lifts her chin as she regards you, cracking her knuckles. What have we here? A curious little pest. Come looking for things that don't concern her. What do we do with pests, Galina? Galina puts her hand on her shotgun's barrel. We break them, Vasilia. Then we hammer a spike through each of their throats so that anyone who sees their bodies knows not to meddle in our affairs. I suggest you stay where you are, pest. I'm not here to meddle in anything. I'm just looking for a serial killer. Well, you found some, friend. Us. You think you can just walk out of here after finding us? Think again. Audrey is obviously the Vor here. You're just enforcers, and he doesn't want a scene while you're on a one-part garden. Vasilia shoots Galina a sidelong glance. She's right, Galina. Audrey would have our heads if we had to break cover before the shipment was ready. Shit. Galina lowers the shotgun though her posture remains wary. We don't care about what we're doing. I have a job to do. This is incidental. So what do you want from us then? You took my Pi's key cards, didn't you? Yes, we did. Alexander took one earlier. He said he wanted to sweep the stockroom, see if there was anything worth stealing it. Vasilia tosses you a key card. It's a good girl. That's the dog. Just coming in for a coach. Very nice little thing she is. Alexander took one earlier. He said he wanted to sweep the stockroom, see if there was anything worth stealing in it. Vasilia tosses you a key card. Here, we don't have time for this. We have to move the gear. And to play detective, go right ahead. Let's quickly talk to her. Is there anything you can tell me about the murders that I might not know? You think we get out a lot? I wouldn't have even known they were murdered if I hadn't bothered to come out to get some soy calf last week. None of our business. Isn't a problem, and I like it that way. Right it is. Okay, let's go back up to One Power Garden then, apparently. I am a little confused. Let's go wandering around here again. My stockroom, that's where we wanted to go. There's the garden, let's open the door. Let's have a look here. Despite the table's crude construction, an artfully laid meal awaits the owner. Several small dishes are filled with pickled vegetables, whilst a larger plate is arranged with long slices of raw meat. It is a pale pinkish white, like raw pork, and is covered in a light soy marinade. Looking at the raw meat, you discover that it's surprisingly tender. What's more, it has the faint aroma of marinade, as if deliberately prepared. Leave the meat alone. This box is packed full of odds and ends. It nearly overflows with a collection of knickknacks, souvenirs, and assorted personal effects. There's no rhyme or reason to the collection of items. They appear to have been thrown in haphazardly. Among the contents are charms from various temples, wooden mask and a paper fan. Let's have a look at the mask. The wooden mask is extremely light. It's been painted a pale white, as if on the surface. No, you don't want to be down there. And the surface, almost as smooth as porcelain. Delicate features, lifted eyebrows and matched bright red lips and delicately carved teeth. The teeth have been stained a deep black. Let's have a look at the charms. The small charms are square cloth packets, each approximately 1 inch wide and 3 inches tall. They come in a variety of bright colours and are embroidered with characters for prosperity, peace, wealth and protection. Inside each appears to be a folded paper prayer or fortune written in Japanese. Let's have a look at the fan. Unfolding the fan, you tilt it upwards towards the light to examine it. The image depicts an East Asian city from the 19th century or earlier. Curved roofs at sunset beside a deep blue river. 2 ships sail down the river, which in turn is spanned by a long wooden bridge. In the foreground, labourers carry buckets along the shore as a man on horseback rides in the opposite direction. In the distance, a pair of large red buildings dominate the city's skyline. 1 large temple hall and 5-tiered pagoda. As you step away from the box, you hear a slight click in the distance, the sound of the door's latch shutting. You're no longer alone in the stockroom. Standing before you is a man clad in heavy armour, bearing a katana on his hip. His skin is an ashen grey, his eyes dead white, his teeth are jagged and appear quite sharp. This is no man, this is a ghoul. The ghoul's blind eyes search back and forth as it regards you. It cannot see you, but you have a sense that it knows exactly where you are at all times. Ah, a hired gun, no doubt brought to bear against me by the Wampo and elders. a means by which they can lift the curse plaguing them. I salute your tenacity, but I wonder, will you hear me out before raising your weapon to kill me? You're a ghoul when you're talking? Yes, I am not only talking, I am reasoning as well. And since you have not attempted to kill me, your own higher faculties are engaged. I am a curiosity to you. He bares his teeth, Barth rasping over them as he inhales. You wish to know not only what I am, but what I have done. As for you, you may call me Gaichu. I know who you are. You're the one killing the Wumpoan elders. You are correct. I've killed all of the Wumpoan elders to date. The only elder magpie was according to my initial plan. I regret the deaths of the other elders. But it was a necessity. What does Gaichu mean? Harmful insect. It is the name I have taken for myself since the word is usually applied to pests, especially ones who drink blood, such as leeches and mosquitoes. The first character means injury or evil influence, and the second means insect or worm. This affair began simply enough, as you may surmise. I am not someone who can be seen in public without great risk. The Poor Garden is an excellent place to hide. No police or triad presence, and minimal interest in things that lurk in the shadows. Unfortunately for me, Elder NG discovered me through communion with her spirits. Rather than kill me or chase me away, she came to me with a proposition. NG and the other elders were having problems with one of their number. An elder named Magpie had been holding many of their plans hostage. They would not budge. They could not remove Magpie, however, because their services were too useful to the Wumpoans at large. NG offered me payment to dispose of Magpie, and I accepted. Who shoots you a sidelong glance? Tusk bears, he grits his jaw. Why the hell are we talking to this in rain? It's a goddamn ghoul, and you know what they're like. Really? Pray tell what I'm like. All teeth and claws and bad manners, I expect. Gaichu's tone is amused, despite the harshness of his rasping voice. Really, you want to crack jokes, you cannibal? Wu takes an involuntary step forward, raising his rifle. You're just the kind of monster to devour a family, just because it's convenient. Remember the 162s are in. It's just like them. The 162s are a gang, Wu, in the Barrens. Like that makes a bit of difference. Go and then talk to the monster, but I'm keeping my finger on the goddamn trigger. I believe we were speaking of the Elder's plans to have me kill Magpie. Surely you must be a little curious about that. You didn't clean up all her blood. I found some in the drain. Ah, unfortunate. I thought I was careful enough. Having it only on my hands must have obscured my sense of smell enough that I missed the last remnants in the drain. I disposed of Magpie's body by emptying the blood in her bathroom. Then I cut her up into more portable pieces. Those were placed in a plastic top, which I took to the storm drains and hid. Gaichu nonchalantly waves a hand, his tone flat and unconcerned. It's unfortunate, but my survival depends upon the consumption of raw meta-human flesh. Letting such nourishment go to waste would be a foolish error. Why kill the other elders, then? I contacted the elders, not in person, of course, and they arranged to exchange payment. I assumed that was since the job was done, NG would be a woman of her word. Baring his teeth, Gaichu hisses his next words across clenched teeth. I was mistaken. I arrived at the nearby parking garage and the elders had told me about. They'd cleared out the other Wumpoans under some pretense, though I'm not sure what ruse they used. The elders never showed up. Instead, several members of the Hong Kong police force arrived. They were more heavily armed than usual, so I suspect they knew something of my nature. I saw scarring on the concrete from bullets and a blade. You killed them with a sword? And my hands, yes. My blindness precludes the use of ranged weapons. Unfortunate, since I was an excellent shot before I became infected. But my skills in grappling and kenjutsu have only increased. The Battle of Swords is a clash of souls. Mine was stronger than theirs, and they perished. A betrayal of that sort cannot stand. Not only was I not paid for my time and effort, the Wumpoan elders treated me like a common animal, and I am so much more than that. Reputation is everything, and I had none. I had hoped to build a network of contacts so that I would be able to continue finding work, but with that treachery my hopes were dashed. I decided to become the monster that they feared. One by one I have eliminated them. They know how to contact me, and could have ended their nightmare at any time by making amends. I would have asked for more money, but I would have ceased my hunt, yet they did not. Instead they contacted you, without asking you to eliminate me where the police had failed. So I ask you, what now? What will you do? Will you attempt to finish what the Wumpoan started, or will you treat me with the same humanity I have shown you? I ask you some questions. Very well, what would you know? Did you eat the elders? Some of them, not all. My condition requires that I consume raw anti-human flesh. I do not require a great deal to survive, perhaps 3 to 4 pounds per week. Consequently, there is vastly more supply than demand. Is this from your armour? Ah, yes, I felt a ragged edge on one shoulder plate. I assume it was removed when one of the police officers shot me with his rifle. The hazards of war include unkempt attire, unfortunately. Why would the elders have you killed instead of paying you? Any number of reasons. They are notorious cheapskates and will always try to save money when dealing with outsiders. It could be their natural inclination towards profit. They may regard me as subhuman and therefore unworthy of respect. It could be that I felt I was too dangerous to allow to live. It could even be that they simply did not like me. The net result is the same. However, they reneged on a deal, we broke it, and attempted to have me killed. The message must be sent, blood must be paid. As they have hired you to kill me, they have obviously not learned their lesson. If I let you live, what will you do? Kill the rest of the elders, and anyone else they send to exterminate me. It's a matter of survival. Should I ever have the opportunity to work freelance again, potential employers need to understand the price of betrayal. These matters are my curriculum vitae in revenge. I've made my decision. Oh, what will you do? How will the story end? Come work with me. I can be your face. Curious of her. And what of the elders? Will you allow me the satisfaction of killing them? I want to see what they have to say first. I would counsel you not to believe their words, but you have the sound of one who is as wary as a matter of course. Very well. Let us wait until a bit later in the night. Most pedestrians will be off the street, and it will be easier for us to approach the one power without being noticed. Sounds like a good plan. Awesome. Now I have a ghoul. I think I'm going to save it just before we go in. Of course I can't save it. And suddenly I can. It would be nice to have a new character. I'm not really experimented that much in close combat characters. As you approach, Elder Eng's eyes widen. Her mouth falls open and the veins on her neck bulge. What are you doing? You have brought this thing into our home. Quick, kill it before it kills us. Porter hefts his pistol warily, but does not aim it at anyone. I have to say, this isn't a good idea. Why the hell is a ghoul here, and why is it wearing armor? Calm yourselves. I am not an it, and your elders know this intimately. Gaiju bares his teeth in a rictus grin as he turns to face NG. Good evening, Elder NG. I can smell your fear, and I am glad of this. It means you are learning the price of betrayal. Whoa, what the hell's going on here? Can someone explain to me why the ghoul is talking? Gaiju had a contract with the elders, and they betrayed him. You dare to accuse us of conspiring with a monster and covering it up? You're insane. The very idea is preposterous. Porter nods at the elders, looking back to you with a wary expression. I'm interested to hear what kind of evidence you have to support this theory, Rain. As far as I can tell, this monster killed Tong and the others, and that makes him a threat that should be eliminated. The elders hired Gaiju to kill Elder Magpie and made it look like she disappeared. You believe this vermin? This creature that feasts on meta-human flesh? That kills and dismembers our tribesmen? You are a naive and foolish woman if that's the case. NG spits on the ground in front of Gaiju. What proof do you have that Magpie is dead? NG, please. It matters where an elder is accused of breaking our law. The other elders generally judge them. It matters where all of them have been accused. I am authorized to act as judge. Make your case, Shadowrun. I found Magpie's necklace in the storm drains. Porter takes a moment to examine the necklace. He nods at you. It is definitely Elder Magpie's. You found it in the storm drain. That's suspicious, but hardly proof on its own. There was a large amount of her blood. Of course it's not proof. The number of things lost down storm drains in Hong Kong must number in the tens of thousands per year. While unusual, it's hardly evidence of foul play. There was a large amount of blood in her shower drain. So what? Perhaps she cut herself and washed the cut-off, or perhaps you're mistaken about it being blood. You're simply guessing as to what happened. That's true. It's a guess, even if it is her blood. It doesn't prove that elders hired this ghoul to kill her. Porter gives Elder Ip a sidelong glance. The elders have always protected the One Power Garden to the best of their ability. She hasn't been seen in a month, not by anyone. She wouldn't just disappear like that. That may be unlikely, but hardly impossible. You haven't established the elders were involved. All you've done is make suppositions about it. What proof do you have that we hired and betrayed this creature? They won't sit by and listen to idle accusations without any kind of concrete evidence to back it up. What about the fight with the Hong Kong police force? How do you mean? What does that have to do with the elders and the ghoul? This is a piece of Gochu's armour I found in the garage. The markings on it prove it. Point out the armour's markings to Porter and he nods with some satisfaction. This is from his armour, definitely, but how does it prove that the elders knew of the ghoul's existence? The police officers were abnormally armed and armoured, and much heavier gear than a normal patrol. They were armed with armour-piercing, discarding sabot rounds. That's hardly standard issue. Lesser weapons wouldn't have broken that armour plate. If all they were looking for was a common fugitive, why be prepared for a fight of that magnitude? Obviously they knew what they were searching for. That doesn't mean we did. The evidence in the garage points to a fight with someone using a sword. We allowed the police into Woodpaw Garden because they were hunting someone. They never told us who or why they were looking for their quarry. Didn't have anything to do with us. Gaichu hisses through clenched teeth, addressing Portland. I was only in the garage to collect payment from them. The ordinary residents were warned of the HKPF's arrival and were gone by the time I arrived. That's suspicious, I admit. Porter regards the elders for a long moment. It still doesn't prove the elders knew it was a ghoul. Your parents don't allow police inside the area. Why make an exception this time? The police were polite and asked their permission to enter. They were hunting a non-Woodpaw. That was reason enough for us to allow them in. Porter considers this for a moment and then shakes his head. That doesn't add up, NG. Why would the police ask us for entry now? They've never been polite before, and they've always tried to force their way in here. It just doesn't ring true to me. Did you ask them to come in order to hunt down this group? Preposterous. Porter, you know what our community is like. We wouldn't lie over something like this. This ghoul has been lying the entire time, trying to cover his tracks. He still brutally murdered several elders. That's true. Those murders were vicious and cruel. Porter fixes you with a hard stare. I don't see any way to explain away that. This ghoul is a monster for how he killed Tong and the others. Tong wasn't tortured. There was no astral residue of pain or fear. He didn't even feel the blow. That's correct. I struck a single blow whilst his back was to me. His death was instant. Regrettable that he had to die for your folly, NG, but necessary to protect my reputation. NG glares at Gaichu in a stony silence before addressing the porter. You cannot believe what these people say. They are not to be trusted, and even if this is true, he has still killed Tom. Porter looks back at NG, his expression flattened without emotion. It may be so, NG, but a monster would not take Tong's suffering into account. He may be a killer, but he's not heartless. The scene of Tong's murder, like the others, was a deliberate sham. It was made to look more horrific than it was. I believe you. The blood smeared on the walls, the removal of his skin, scene designed to evoke horror, not the scene of an actual fight. Elders, what do you have to say in response? This is a farce. We have dedicated ourselves to protecting the Woodpaw tribe and everyone who lives in Woodpaw Garden. You really believe the outsiders and monsters were our word? We who have only tried to end the killings? You've been duped, Porter. You and this Shadowrunner. Lip, I concur. Porter, you know me. I know the kind of person I am. I wouldn't be party to the killing of another elder. I can't believe we're even entertaining the notion that we had to defend ourselves. We should be disposing of this ghoul instead. Tang narrows his eyes at you, hissing. If you think I'll forget this, you're sorely mistaken. I will not tolerate this kind of insult. The elders are all too happy to have the red spears move into the garage, almost like they wanted to keep anyone curious about the fight away. That's right, Yip. You even told me not to go and find out what happened to the fight. You said the red spear gang was moving in and to leave them alone. Why would you tell me not to look into it? I was only trying to protect you from the red spears. They're dangerous, which is why I wanted to deal with them directly. Magpie's gear was missing, obviously missing. Why didn't Yip tell me that? He would have had to have noticed. And Magpie's shop was locked up. Why didn't he want me investigating? Pure supposition. You would think this proves something that I didn't notice equipment was missing? Magpie's shop is always a horrible mess. Tang, you did a full inventory of Magpie's matrix servers. You assured us everything was running fine and you'll be able to continue her work. I find it hard to believe you missed something as obvious as missing equipment, especially whilst searching her stock. And that's all I've got. All right, I think I have some idea of what's going on here. And what do you believe the real story is? Gaichu seems to be telling the truth. Elders, too many facts don't add up. You're obviously hiding something, possibly a great deal, from the rest of the tribe. I'm sorry, but I have to take you into custody until the community can decide the extent and manner of your punishment. Death would seem appropriate to me, especially given that they kept up this charade even to you, even one of their most trusted citizens. Don't you dare talk to me like that, you disgusting beast. It begins to raise his weapon. Porter reaches out to stop him. Ip reluctantly stops. Ip, no, don't make this any worse than it is. Porter turns to face you. Thank you, Rain. I'll make certain that justice is meted out. You are free to go, and I will ensure payment is delivered to you, so long as you take Gaichu with you. I can't have him staying here. You'll be coming with me. Awesome. Oh, we've unlocked the achievement Ronan. As you exit the Wampo to the sweltering night, Eric Kowloon guides you turns to face you. I confess I am unhappy with the decision to allow the Wampoan elders to live. We should have killed them if for no other reason than to maintain our reputation. That's why I let them live. That's not how we do things. Gouchy bows to your head held very low. I can't accept this. I am unused to working with Shadowrunners, and assumed you would see things as I do. Hopefully there is much I can learn from you. Shall we leave this place? I am eager to be done with Wampoa Garden. And we've gained... Oh, is that all? Okay, looks like we are heading back by the MTR station with a new crew member. Let's board the train. Choo-choo! The MTR rockets noiselessly towards Hoi, along the edge of Kowloon Bay. The black water glitters in the night, with the light of 1,000 reflected storefronts. Gaichu stares sightlessly out of the window, one hand pressed to the glass. The plot by the elders is exposed, and Porter Lamb is in your debt. You have a new ally in respect of the Wampoans. Sometimes everything goes right on a job. You count yourself lucky this was one of those times. Didn't have to fire a shot. Fan-bloody-tastic. Let's roll. If it hasn't crashed. No, good. Sounds good. Kind of sounds good. Do we have a crash? We appear to have a crash. No. We are calm again. 8. Let's go back to the mission computer. Somebody called Stephen Dynamite there. Oh, let's just quickly this guy, here we go. So active defense. Ooh. Ooh. Ah, yes, I remember ghouls from... So we get armor and dodge. Let's just cause damage. Where'd our bow go? It's over here, isn't it? Here we go. Let's go onto the safe boat. Get our payment. Workstation mission computer. The cool blow tones of the workstation's main menu fill the screen. Blinking message in the upper right corner notifies you have 4 unread messages. Access the Shadowlands BBS. And go back. Check the inbox for new messages. Artifact liberation. Welcome to the Shadow's Reign. I've received a request from the archaeologist named Mr. Drake. He's interested in liberating certain artifacts from Poe. Beneath the manor house located in Taipo, attached a copy of the video message that he sent me. The screen flickers a few times and the email is replaced with the face of a stern-looking orc. Hello, Madam Cheng. I've heard that you are a woman who knows how to get things done, especially with regards to things that aren't legal in the strictest sense. It's exactly the kind of help I'm looking for. Recently, a rich investor by the name of Liu Hu has decided to expand his manor house on the outskirts of Taipo. Too much money and not enough space for fancy parties. He had a snag with local government officials, however. They suspected the land his estate was built on may have pre-modern archaeological artifacts buried underneath it, all of them dating from the Song Dynasty. Consequently, I was contacted as an archaeologist to oversee the excavations and ensure everything was properly recorded and catalogued. Sure enough, we were only a few days into the excavation when we discovered a series of tombs lying beneath the site. The scope of the tombs was far beyond anything Louis or I had expected. Several acres of catacombs, at least, untouched relics throughout. What's more, they are certainly older than the Song Dynasty. They may even be from a previous cycle of magic. Before I could make my report to the Free Enterprise Zone authorities, however, Louis called his allies in and Dan Tien Incorporated. We sold the entire estate site to Ten, who then leased it back to him. Because Tan Tien is considered to have extra territoriality in Hong Kong, local authorities were powerless to stop Louis from looting the tombs. He immediately began building a museum, if you couldn't call it that, atop the site. He had the gall to call his museum the Emperor's Tomb. Can you believe that? The odds of there being an actual emperor buried there are basically nil, but he doesn't care. Anything to sell a few tickets. Louis has continued his excavations, using Tan Tien and contracted to expand the dig. What he didn't know is that I bugged his comment before he fired me. Based on what I've heard, something strange is going on the lower levels. Workers have been disappearing, only to be found dead several days later. Whatever is down there is too dangerous to be left in Louis' hands. Louis must have found my data line tapped, though. I stopped receiving any information 3 days ago. The last thing I heard him talking about were a pair of ancient texts that his workers had discovered. Then he issued an order that further excavation should be halted until he could secure the subterranean areas. I'm betting those texts are the cause of whatever's killing the workers. I have quite a bit of experience with these kinds of dangerous excavations, but an operation of this scale is beyond me. I need a team that's tough enough to get in and survive, aren't afraid of making a mess, and who can get out with the books and whatever else they carry. Beyond the 2 texts, I'm willing to pay very well for whatever other artifacts your team can liberate. The more valuable, the better. Don't worry, they'll be going to actual museums, not some rich playboy's mansion. I've got a second program in place that'll suppress Louis' security system. The team will have to be careful, though. There are only so many alarms I can suppress. Go beyond that number and I'll scrub the mission. I've included a catalogue of likely items to help the team appraise the most valuable ones. They don't need to be subtle. In fact, I prefer to make it look like a common robbery. Tell them to smash and grab what they can. Let me know when you find a suitable group of Shadowrunners. There you have it. A nice little simple robbery. You think you can handle something like that, dear? I have faith in you. Let me know when you're ready to proceed and I'll contact Mr. Drake when you're on worry. Take the run. Don't fuck up. Back to route. Okay, I think we're going to walk away and save now and exit. I enjoyed that. We've now got a new person on our team. A ghoul, which is pretty awesome. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching. If you've enjoyed, please subscribe. If not, don't worry about it. Thank you again. Goodbye.